Good morning. I hope that you are having a pretty good start to your day. I am coming to you live from my playroom, so you may see a baby or two walk around here. That's how it goes around here sometimes. But we're going to get through it because I wanted to hop on here really quick and talk to you today about divine providence, right? A really exciting topic, divine providence, God providing. But we're going to go to the book of Ruth to talk about it. John Piper has a great book on the book of Ruth and divine providence, and also other things that are themes within the book of Ruth, such as racial disparities and gender disparities and things that God talks about and addresses within this book that are very profound that I would love to get into one day too, but maybe not today. Today we're going to talk about divine providence in the book of Ruth, which is super interesting because we come on the scene when Naomi is mourning the death of her sons and the death of her husband, which is very normal. She's in a very deep state of grief. I don't blame her for that at all. I don't think any of us would. But what's so interesting about this book is that while Naomi is processing her present suffering, what we see is that God had already worked out her future providence. Amen. But when we are in pain, we can either focus on the unfairness of our situation, or we can focus on the justness of God, which is consistent no matter our changing situation. And this doesn't mean that when we shift our focus that God gives way for us to just receive everything that we could ever want. It's actually the exact opposite. What do you mean by that? It's that we realize that suffering was sufficient for the Son of God, for Jesus Christ, and it is actually an honor to suffer for his sake. Amen. It's an honor to showcase that Christ is not found in bright spotlights. Christ many times is not found on mountaintops. Christ is very much not found when we get everything that we want, but he is always going to be found in the midst of broken-hearted people, in the middle of their greatest valley, in the middle of their biggest battle. The prize of Ruth is not that Naomi was given everything that she wanted. The prize of Ruth is not that God worked everything out and that Ruth got engaged to Boaz. The prize of the book of Ruth is that through all of those circumstances, God brought forth Jesus Christ to a broken world. When you look at the lineage of Jesus Christ, you see Ruth and Boaz. And so God used all of these situations that were inflicting her with suffering, that were a struggle for her to actually bring forth the person of Christ. And God is going to do the same thing through our situation when we let him. Through suffering, Christ is revealed, which is so exciting. So the question of this book, the question of our generation is not, why does God allow suffering? I think it's a good question, but I think it can be a slightly incorrect question for the mature Christian. The real question is, why is suffering good enough for Christ, but not for me? Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.